So you're just a leech living off your parents at your ripe old age, huh? Lily, leeches should get lost. This is going to be our house. My 8-year-old niece, Emily, spat out these hurtful words, grinning. My sister Anne and her husband Sam were snickering next to Emily. I could guess the kind of parenting they were doing, given the outrageous statement from an 8-year-old. I no longer felt any need to forgive them, my niece, my sister, or her husband. I felt the pent-up anger inside me flare up. My name is Lily. I live with my parents at our family home. I used to live on my own, but I moved back home because I was worried about my aging parents. I love my work and I'm not at all interested in relationships. I never intended to get married, and one of the reasons I decided to live at home was to cherish the time I had with my parents. My dad was a chef and he's really good at cooking. Even after retiring, he cooks for us at home, and I always look forward to meals. Having lived alone, I miss my dad's cooking, which is one of the reasons why I returned home, but that's a secret. When I decided to live with them and support the household, my mom retired from the part-time job she had held for many years. She was hesitant, but I suggested it might be the right time. Both my mom and dad had been doing a lot of standing at their jobs and had sometimes thrown out their backs. I convinced them to quit their jobs, telling them there was no need to push themselves since I was supporting the household. I'm a mess outside of work and I'm not good at housekeeping, so I appreciate that my parents are at home doing chores. It's a win-win relationship between my parents and me. Disrupting the stable life are my sister Anne, her husband Sam, and their 8-year-old daughter Emily. Almost every week, they show up at our house uninvited, driving 30 minutes for a free meal. Anne justifies their visits by saying it helps them save on food expenses. Raising the child is costly, and Sam neither denies nor hides this. They would eat the meals my dad cooked as if it was their right and leave without even cleaning up. This routine has become their weekly habit. It might have been tolerable if they just came, ate, and left. But Anne's other behaviors were unacceptable. Every time before leaving, she would scrounge around our house, taking items she thought she could sell on an online flea market app. As a result, I've had to hide my accessories and imported clothes in the back of my closet. On top of that, she rummages through our fridge, taking food without asking. When I confronted her, saying this would be considered theft if she were a stranger, she dismissed me, saying, "You wouldn't understand, Lily. It's tough to run a household when you're married." But Anne isn't the only selfish one. Emily, who takes after her mother, has become increasingly like her as she's grown up. "Ew, this is gross." Emily made a sour face at the meal my dad had prepared. Neither Anne nor Sam scolded her. My dad, a retired chef who takes pride in his cooking, would never make anything that tasted bad. Yet Emily complained, "I can't eat this. It's disgusting. I want cake." When Sam heard Emily's demand for cake, he turned to me and asked, "Do we have any cake? Emily seems to want some." I couldn't help but frown and respond, "Ha." Sensing potential trouble, my father quickly stepped between us, apologetically saying, "Sorry, we didn't prepare any cake. Did you not enjoy today's meal, Emily?" Emily remained displeased. "Oh, Hisiaki, I only want to eat sweet things. Desserts are the best. I don't want to eat Grandpa's food." "Oh, I find it convenient and it saves us on grocery bills, so it's fantastic. But if Emily says so, we have no choice." "Dad, Mom, please prepare some sweets and cake for Emily next week," Sam said. I couldn't forgive Anne for accepting Emily's selfishness and for bossing our parents around. However, if I spoke out now, our already shrinking parents would feel even more troubled. I pitied my parents, unable to complain as Anne's family left as usual after looking through our house. I couldn't believe their audacity, behaving that way just because it's their parents' house. It was unforgivable. My mother apologized, blaming herself for not having the cake ready, while my father quietly disposed of the leftover food meant for Emily. It pained me to see my parents act this way. The next week, I debated whether to ask Anne and her family to stop visiting, only to have them show up at our door once again without warning. They walked in as if it were their right, asking, "Is dinner ready?" Emily complained about the cake my mother had bought, insisting she wanted one with more strawberries. Sam took charge of the TV remote without asking. Watching my sister and her family act so entitled left me stunned. While my father's cooking was served, Anne and Sam enjoyed their meal, chatting and sharing a bottle of wine. Emily, unhappy with the cake and refusing to eat her dinner, played games on her phone, remarking, "Grandpa and Grandma are really useless." desperate for them to leave, and suddenly chirped, "Oh, by the way, we've decided to move into this house starting next week." Huh. My voice echoed with surprise, and it seemed my parents, equally taken aback, hadn't heard this before. Sam chimed in to support Anne's announcement, saying, "Driving here every week is a hassle. Living together will save on groceries and rent." Struggling to find my voice, I finally objected. "Wait a minute, this is sudden. We don't have enough rooms, and you're planning to live here without contributing financially. That's presumptuous." Anne and Sam's faces twisted at my words, but it was Emily who spoke up first. "Lily is just a leech living off her parents. Leeches should leave. This will be our house," she said smugly, earning stifled laughs from her parents. I couldn't believe an 8-year-old could speak like that. I was stunned that Emily, at such a young age, called me a leech. It seemed clear that Anne and Sam had influenced her to see me in such a negative light. "No, Emily, don't say that. You'll hurt Lily's feelings," Anne interjected, trying to defuse the situation. "I don't want to live with Lily. I want her gone by next week. It's embarrassing to live with a parasite. What if my friends find out?" Emily stared at me disdainfully, with Anne and Sam chuckling beside her. Anger surged through me after enduring their behavior for so long. "All right, I will leave by next week, as you wish," I replied calmly. Anne's family seemed pleased with my answer, laughing as they always did without offering to help clean up. My parents looked terrified at the thought of living with Anne's family, but they seemed relieved when I suggested a solution. There was so much to organize before Anne's family moved in. With my parents' help, we got everything in order, and it was a great relief. The house was cleaned and prepared just as Emily had requested. The day arrived when Anne's family was supposed to move in, and I busied myself organizing in my new place. I missed my old house where I had lived for so many years, but the new place was nice, and I felt a sense of relief knowing that I wouldn't be irritated every time Anne's family visited. While I was engrossed in cleaning, my phone rang again, showing numerous missed calls from Anne. I picked up. "Lily, why didn't you pick up earlier? There's a problem with our house," Anne cried. "Well, it's my house actually. I've already demolished it," I said, half jokingly. Anne screamed, "What have you done?" I could only imagine their shock when they arrived to find the house in the midst of demolition. You see, when I had moved back to support my parents, the house was transferred to my name. It was my decision to demolish it. I felt it was better to knock it down than let Anne's family take it over. The house was old anyway, and my parents agreed with my choice. I wanted my parents to enjoy their retirement, so I took care of all their expenses. Emily's comments about me being a parasite were therefore completely misguided. I explained all of this to Anne. "You and Emily have said a lot of hurtful things about me. It's not right to teach your daughter to behave like that. It would be unfortunate if Emily ended up following your example," I told Anne, my voice laced with sarcasm. She appeared more shocked than remorseful. After selfishly criticizing me, she came to me almost in tears, asking, "What should we do? We've already ended our lease and moved out of our previous house. We'll be homeless. Emily is only 8 years old." "Maybe it will teach Emily a lesson about facing challenges," I replied casually, continuing to clean. Anne started crying. "How can you be so heartless?" I thought that should be my question. Who was it that insulted me repeatedly through their words and through their daughter? I asked her. "I'm sorry, I'll make Emily apologize too. Please, just for tonight, let us stay in your new place," Anne begged. "No, I can't do that. Both Mom and Dad are afraid to see you now. Your negativity always upsets them. They love our new home, and I won't let you ruin our happiness. I'm hanging up now. I'm busy," I said firmly, ending the call. Wait, please." Anne was still yelling, but I mercilessly hung up the phone. Afterwards, Anne kept calling numerous times, but I ignored her. It seemed like she also tried to reach out to our parents, but they too ignored her calls. Eventually, the relentless calls stopped. Presumably, Anne and her family managed to find a place to stay. When I wondered where they went, my mother explained the situation to Dad and me a few days later. Apparently, Anne had been sending messages to Mom via text only. It seems she's now staying with Sam's parents. Sam's mom, Anne's mother-in-law, is a very strict woman when it comes to rules and manners. Anne disliked her and appears to be struggling living under the roof of such a stern mother-in-law. Emily, too, who used to be spoiled rotten, seems to be learning a lot from this strict mother-in-law. There's no doubt she would have grown into a terrible adult if she continued her old ways. So, in retrospect, this seems to be a good thing. It may be tough on Emily, but it's unavoidable. I hope she'll manage to become a well-mannered grown-up. It seems Anne and Sam were more broke than we imagined. Sam was a fan of gambling, frequently squandering his money on various bets, and wasn't against gambling and didn't stop him, even enjoying it with him at times. However, they accumulated a substantial amount of debt due to their gambling. In order to repay this debt, it seems that they wanted to live with our parents. I was dumbfounded by how audacious their reason was. Sam ended up returning to his parents' house but reportedly disappeared after a few days. Whether he ran away of his own accord due to being chased by debt collectors or was forcibly taken away to work was unclear. Regardless, since he left a note saying, "I'm leaving home, please don't search for me," the police treated it as a case of him simply leaving home. And, without any savings, is now apparently working multiple jobs from dawn to dusk. She's sending daily messages to Mom about her hardships, but it seems Mom has no intention of helping Anne. "We raised her that way, but I think this is a necessary trial for her," Mom said. For your information, our parents and Sam's parents are on good terms and frequently communicate. When Mom apologized to Sam's mom for the trouble caused by Anne and Emily, Sam's mom energetically responded, "Having these kids who are worth educating has added some spice to my life. I apologize for the trouble my son caused. As an apology, I'll make sure to educate my daughter-in-law and granddaughter well." Anyway, my parents and I are relieved to have cut ties with Anne and her family. We're relishing the fact that we can now spend our days without the constant dread and annoyance. Dad, who had lost some confidence in his cooking after Emily's criticism, is now joyfully showing off his culinary skills. Thanks to our new house with a spacious kitchen, I've always loved Dad's cooking, and every time I say delicious, he seems more motivated to cook. Mom, who used to get exhausted every time Anne's family visited and lost the energy to go outside, is now often going out since we moved. She joined a local club and resumed her old hobby of painting. My mom's forte is watercolor painting. She's always joyfully crafting her artwork under the gentle guidance of her teacher. Recently, she's been heading out to the park, sketchbook in hand, to draw various objects and scenes. We're eagerly looking forward to the upcoming exhibition by the art club my mom is a part of, and we plan to attend. My life continues as it always has, busy but enjoyable as I continue doing the work I love. The constant nagging from my sister and her family has finally ceased, reducing my stress levels significantly. It wasn't until I felt this relief that I realized just how much stress they had been causing me. It's refreshing to remember just how bright and cheerful I can be. My parents are aging, but they are enjoying their lives now, which makes me happy. Even if they eventually need care, our home is equipped with accessibility features, making caregiving easier. "Lily, thanks to you, we are so happy. We truly appreciate it," my mother often says. My father echoes her sentiments with a warm smile. Indeed, my devotion to my parents was born from a desire not to have regrets when the inevitable separation comes. However, seeing them so pleased is the greatest reward. I want to continue living this slow-paced, warm life and will do what I can to ensure our daily lives remain this way.